Before you buy Bitcoin, it helps to remove one picture from your mind. There is no tiny orange coin moving around inside the internet. Bitcoin is easier to understand as three things working together: a public notebook, a key system, and a rule machine. The public notebook is the blockchain. It is a shared history of transactions that many computers can check. The key system is what wallets use to authorize spending. The rule machine is the network of nodes and miners that refuses transactions that break Bitcoin rules. If you can hold those three ideas, Bitcoin stops feeling like magic fog. It becomes a strange but understandable payment network. Not risk-free, not guaranteed to rise in value, and not something you need to buy, but understandable. Start with the ledger. In a normal bank or payment app, one company usually keeps the official balance record. Bitcoin works differently. Many computers around the world keep copies of the transaction history. No single app is supposed to be the main record keeper for the Bitcoin network. That is why people describe Bitcoin as a public ledger. Public does not mean simple, private, or reversible. It means the transaction history can be checked by the network. When someone says they own Bitcoin, the practical meaning is not that coins sit in a little digital purse. The ledger shows Bitcoin that can be spent. The wallet holds keys that can authorize moving it. Now look at the key system. A Bitcoin wallet is more like a key ring connected to a public scoreboard than a wallet full of loose change. The scoreboard shows which Bitcoin can be spent. The keys prove who is allowed to move it. When you send Bitcoin, your wallet creates a signed transaction. The message says, in effect, I am authorized to spend this Bitcoin, and I want it assigned to this new address. This is powerful, but it also changes the beginner safety model. If you send to the wrong address, share a private key, lose a recovery phrase, or use a fake wallet page, there may be no help desk with a magic undo button. Then the network starts checking. Bitcoin nodes ask boring but important questions. Is the signature valid? Do these Bitcoin exist in the ledger? Have they already been spent somewhere else? Does the transaction follow the network rules? A fake transaction does not become real just because someone announces it loudly. It has to survive the checking process. Miners gather valid transactions into a candidate block. To add that block, miners compete in proof of work. The winning miner can add the next block, and the network can verify that the block follows the rules. Once the block is accepted, the transaction has a confirmation. More blocks after it make rewriting that part of history harder. That is why services often wait for confirmations before treating a Bitcoin payment as final. So what is Bitcoin backed by? It is not backed by gold. It is not issued by the United States government. It is not a bank deposit. It is not FDIC insured. And no company promises to redeem one Bitcoin for a fixed number of dollars. People value Bitcoin because of a bundle of features. The protocol has rules. The supply schedule is limited. Anyone can verify the ledger with software. Wallets, nodes, miners, exchanges, developers, merchants, and holders create network use. And open market demand affects the price. That last part is the sharp edge. A scarce thing can still fall in price. A useful network can still be volatile. A famous asset can still be used in scams. Different does not mean better. It means you need the right map. Supply is part of that map. New Bitcoin enters circulation through mining rewards. A miner that adds a valid block receives a reward made of two parts. The block subsidy is newly issued Bitcoin. Transaction fees are paid by users who want transactions included in a block. The subsidy follows Bitcoin's program schedule. Roughly every 210,000 blocks, the subsidy is cut in half in an event called a halving. As of May 21, 2026, the current block subsidy is 3.125 BTC per block. Before fees, eventually, Bitcoin's maximum supply approaches about 21 million Bitcoin. That does not mean all Bitcoin are easy to buy, evenly distributed, or permanently accessible. Some Bitcoin may be held long-term. Some may be lost. The supply cap is a protocol rule, not a promise that price must go up. Now the practical use cases. People use Bitcoin to hold a digital asset, Send value to another Bitcoin address, receive payments, move funds between services that support Bitcoin, learn self-custody, and sometimes pay merchants that accept it. Those uses come with limits. Transactions can have fees. Confirmation times can vary. The recipient needs the correct address and network. Platforms can restrict withdrawals, deposits, regions, payment methods, or account features. Taxes may apply when you sell, trade, spend, or otherwise dispose of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is also not anonymous in the way many beginners imagine. The blockchain is public. Addresses are not legal names by default, but transaction activity can sometimes be linked to real identities. It is not a magic anonymity cloak. It is a public ledger with keys. Before buying, remember the common misconceptions. Bitcoin is not just money inside a bank app. If you withdraw to your own wallet, custody changes. You become responsible for private keys and recovery phrases. Bitcoin is not anonymous by default. Mining is not easy free income for most beginners. A limited supply does not guarantee a higher price, and a Bitcoin transaction may not be fixable later. These boundaries matter more than memorizing technical vocabulary. Beginners usually get hurt when they misunderstand custody, volatility, scams, platform rules, taxes, or addresses. Here is the pre-buy checklist. Can I explain the ledger, keys, and confirmations in plain English? Do I understand Bitcoin can lose value? Do I know the difference between holding on a platform and using my own wallet? Will I never share a private key or recovery phrase? Can I recognize guaranteed return scams, fake support, and urgent messages? Have I checked current platform rules, fees, limits, and regional availability? Do I know that taxes and records may matter later? And do I know my next step after buying? Buy, store, send, or sell are different actions with different risks. If too many answers are fuzzy, wait. Bitcoin will still be there after you understand the basics. Learn more at SatoABC.com.